When I was 14 years old, I was left completely alone at a boarding school in Switzerland. Nobody came to pick me up. I really had no idea what I was going to do, and a friend of mine, a classmate, let me stay with her and her family while I tried as hard as I could to reach my parents. You were kind of an unconventional mom and an unconventional wife too, I guess.
Yeah, yes.
Shirley MacLaine, a name that brings to mind a Hollywood that was both glamorous and wild. Born during the Great Depression, she first walked onto the stage on weak ankles and went on to become one of the most lasting actresses of the entire 20th century. Across more than 7 decades, from The Apartment to Terms of Endearment, MacLaine left her mark with performances people never forgot and built a rare symbol of independence in a film industry that had long been run by men. But Shirley MacLaine was never just a movie star. She was a woman who wasn't afraid to live life differently. An open marriage that lasted almost 30 years, relationships full of contradictions, a complicated bond with her daughter that was often talked about in public, and a spiritual journey marked by a belief in past lives, UFOs, and the afterlife. To some people, she was a pioneer. To others, she was eccentric. But nobody has ever denied her boldness or her magnetic presence. At 90, Shirley MacLaine still hasn't stopped, putting out new books, showing up in independent films, and continuing to stand by a philosophy of life rooted in freedom and zero regrets. Behind the bright lights of Hollywood, she stands as proof that some artists exist not just to perform, but to question, to shake things up, and to look for deeper meaning in life. Shirley MacLaine, born Shirley MacLaine Beatty on April 24, 1934 in Richmond, Virginia, came from an educated but unstable middle-class family. Her father, Ira Owens Beatty, was a psychology professor who also worked in different jobs like school administrator and real estate agent. He was strict, emotionally closed off, and changed jobs often, which forced the family to keep moving from Richmond to Norfolk, then Arlington, Waverly, and finally back to Arlington. Her mother, Kathleen Corinne MacLaine, a Canadian-born drama teacher, had a romantic spirit and a love for the arts. She was the one who planted in Shirley a love for the stage and named her after the child star Shirley Temple. Inside that household, discipline and creativity were always bumping heads. Her cold, heavy drinking father stood in sharp contrast to her dreamy, often emotionally distant mother. Shirley would later say she carried the psychology of an orphan child, always having to take care of herself in her own world. In 1937, the family welcomed another child, her brother Warren Beatty, who would go on to become one of Hollywood's great actors and directors. The bond between Shirley and Warren was both close and competitive. And in later years, disagreements over family matters even led to a period where they stopped talking. From a very young age, Shirley faced a physical challenge, weak ankles that were prone to frequent sprains and caused her to fall often. To help with this, her mother enrolled her in ballet at the Washington School of Ballet when she was just 3 years old. What started as physical therapy quickly became a passion. Shirley never missed a lesson, trained really hard, and quickly showed extraordinary toughness and determination. By age 16, she was strong enough to perform on stage with the Washington School of Ballet. During one performance of Cinderella where she was playing the fairy godmother, she broke her ankle right before going on stage. But she wrapped it up tight and finished the show anyway. That kind of grit would define her career for decades to come. However, her tall frame and foot structure stopped her from being able to pursue a professional career in ballet. Letting go of that first dream, Shirley turned to the stage. At Washington Lee High School in Arlington, she stood out both in theater productions and as a cheerleader, thanks to her confidence and natural presence on stage. She often traveled alone by bus and streetcar to classes and rehearsals, long rides that gave her time to think and grew in her a deep sense of independence and a desire to see the world. A childhood full of constant moves, a stern father, an emotionally absent mother, rivalry with her younger brother, and the struggle of weak ankles shaped Shirley into a fiercely self-reliant person. For her, art wasn't just joy but also a safe place, a source of stability amid the chaos of family life and the uncertainties of wartime America. From those early years, Shirley MacLaine built a tough character, one that refused to bow to convention and was always ready to step beyond boundaries in pursuit of her own path. Even as a student at Washington Lee High School, Shirley MacLaine knew she wasn't going to stop at school plays. She was both a theater star and a standout cheerleader, remembered by classmates and teachers for her confidence and natural gift for performance. That environment gave her not only the courage to face large crowds but also a bigger dream, Broadway, a place only the bold dared to go after. At just 18, Shirley left Arlington and moved to New York all on her own, carrying with her a vague but burning feeling that the stage was her destiny. At first, she only landed small roles, including ensemble parts in Oklahoma and a spot in the chorus line of Me and Juliet, a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. But Shirley was never the type to sit and wait for luck. She watched, learned, and quietly prepared herself. Her big break came when she was cast as the understudy for Carol Haney in The Pajama Game in 1954. Determined not to miss her moment, Shirley even cut her hair short to look like Haney, ready at any second to step in. That moment came sooner than she expected. When Haney injured her ankle before a performance, Shirley stepped onto that stage with confidence, grit, and an unusual kind of charm. She won the audience over instantly. That very same night, comedian Jerry Lewis happened to be in the audience. He was so impressed that he called legendary producer Hal B. Wallace right away. Soon after, Wallace came to see Shirley perform in person and immediately signed her to a 5-year contract with Paramount Pictures. It was a life-changing turning point that shot the unknown chorus girl from Broadway straight into the glittering world of Hollywood. From then on, she changed her professional name from Shirley MacLaine Beatty to Shirley MacLaine, taking her mother's maiden name to make it simpler, more distinctive, and easier to remember. The new name quickly became a brand all on its own. Within just weeks, Shirley had gone from the chorus line to Hollywood stardom, a rise so fast it seemed almost like a fairy tale. Her film debut came with Alfred Hitchcock's The Trouble with Harry in 1955. The movie wasn't a major box office hit, but audiences and critics were struck by Shirley's fresh presence, witty, intelligent, at once appealing, and a little tomboyish. The performance earned her a Golden Globe for New Star of the Year, marking the beginning of a long and legendary film career. In 1956, she appeared in the lavish, star-studded Around the World in 80 Days. 2 years later came her golden opportunity with Some Came Running in 1958, where she starred opposite Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. The role of Ginny had originally been meant for Marilyn Monroe, but when Monroe turned it down, Shirley stepped in. Her tragic, deeply human portrayal earned her a first Academy Award nomination for Best Actress, pushing her from understudy to A-list star. By the late 1950s, Shirley had become a familiar face in Hollywood. Her versatility let her move effortlessly between comedy and tragedy, never letting herself get typecast, a fate that trapped many actresses of her era. Shirley MacLaine's early career wasn't just the story of a lucky break but also a testament to her tireless preparation, determination, and boldness to break free of limits. From Broadway stages to major film sets, she proved that resilience and audacity could turn a sprained ankle into the very leap that changed a life forever. After her promising start with Alfred Hitchcock's The Trouble with Harry in 1955 and her first Oscar nomination for Some Came Running in 1958, Shirley MacLaine quickly proved she was more than just another pretty face in Hollywood. She was a true talent. The 1960s marked a period of triumph that established her as one of the most influential actresses on screen. Her role as Fran Kubelik in The Apartment in 1960, the vulnerable secretary caught up in an affair with her boss, brought her a second Oscar nomination. Under Billy Wilder's direction and alongside Jack Lemmon, Shirley created a character that was at once fragile and resilient, one that audiences never forgot. Charlize Theron once said that Shirley made a black and white film feel as if it were in color, a rare compliment to her ability to breathe real life into a role. But Shirley never chose the easy path. In 1961, she shook Hollywood with The Children's Hour, playing Martha Doby, a woman who has romantic feelings for a friend played by Audrey Hepburn. At a time when homosexuality was considered taboo and even treated as a disorder under the Hays Code, Shirley took a tremendous risk. Martha's tragic fate, ending in suicide under social condemnation, wasn't just a performance. It was a groundbreaking act of defiance. Though audiences weren't ready yet, Shirley opened the door for films willing to face hidden realities. 2 years later, she earned acclaim again with Irma la Douce in 1963, playing a Parisian prostitute who was both naive and endearing. To prepare, Shirley and Jack Lemmon actually met real sex workers in Paris and observed their lives up close. That dedication allowed her to craft a performance that was at once comedic and humane, earning her a Golden Globe and a third Oscar nomination. While many actresses of her era got typecast, Shirley proved she could shift seamlessly between comedy, romance, and tragedy. By the late 1960s, she showed her power behind the scenes with Sweet Charity in 1969. Not only did she star in the film, she also convinced Universal to hand the directing job to Bob Fosse, a brilliant choreographer who had never directed a film before. Despite the risks, she championed him. Although the film flopped at the box office, Shirley's performance of If My Friends Could See Me Now became iconic. More importantly, Sweet Charity revealed her clout. Very few actresses had the influence to dictate who directed a film. The 1970s saw Shirley slow down, but not as a decline, more like a reinvention. She left Hollywood to travel the world, from India and Bhutan to Africa, searching for spiritual and political insights. When she came back in The Turning Point in 1977, she delivered a profound performance as a ballet dancer who had given up her career to become a mother. The film earned 11 Oscar nominations, including another Best Actress nod for Shirley. Though she didn't win, the role showed her deepened maturity, enriched by her real-life experiences. 2 years later, she earned further praise in Being There in 1979 alongside Peter Sellers. As Eve Rand, a powerful yet lonely widow, Shirley brought a delicate balance of humor and melancholy that helped lift the film's satire into a classic. The 1980s marked her true peak. Terms of Endearment in 1983 cemented her legend. As Aurora Greenway, a strong-willed, difficult yet deeply loving mother, Shirley made audiences laugh and cry in equal measure. The film's set was famously tense. Shirley and Deborah Winger clashed so badly they refused to share a trailer and argued constantly. Director James L. Brooks used that real-life friction to fuel the intensity on screen. When Shirley won the 1984 Oscar for Best Actress, she strode onto that stage and declared, "I deserve this." It was a proud and completely justified statement after 3 decades of surviving Hollywood's harshness. In the years that followed, she kept shining. In Steel Magnolias in 1989, Shirley played Weiser, a sharp-tongued, cantankerous woman hiding a soft heart, earning both laughs and affection from audiences. In Postcards from the Edge in 1990, opposite Meryl Streep, she played a domineering, artistic mother, creating a battle of performances that mirrored real-life mother-daughter conflicts. Then in Guarding Tess in 1994, she transformed a former First Lady into a complex figure, difficult yet deeply human, and once again stole the spotlight. By the 2000s, Shirley hadn't slowed down at all. In 2005 alone, she appeared in Her Shoes, Rumor Has It, and Bewitched. Even in her 70s, she kept her sharp wit and charisma, holding her own against younger stars like Cameron Diaz, Jennifer Aniston, and Nicole Kidman. Later, Bernie in 2011 showcased a tougher, darker Shirley opposite Jack Black, proving she never settled into being predictable. And in 2012, she delighted audiences all over the world in Downton Abbey as Martha Levinson, the loud and outspoken American foil to Maggie Smith's Violet, turning every exchange into a scene-stealing duel. Her honors reflect this incredible staying power. Golden Globes for Irma la Douce and Terms of Endearment, the 1984 Best Actress Oscar, the Cecil B. DeMille Award in 1998, the AFI Life Achievement Award in 2012, and the Kennedy Center Honor in 2013. That kind of collection belongs only to artists of lasting influence. More importantly, Shirley's career wasn't just a string of roles but a declaration of power. She sued Paramount for breach of contract and won, setting a legal precedent. She once slapped producer Hal Wall.